Hey there everyone, welcome back to the channel. Guess what? We have a bride banner coming up. Isn't that exciting? So we're going to talk a little bit about what could possibly be on that banner, and we're going to take a little trip down memory lane to the previous ones, because this is one of the few banners that we have that are a year 4 banner. The only other one that we've had so far was Spring, which wrapped up a little while ago. But brides are technically the next down the road of seasonal banners being in 4-year runs, because May is a thing. Even though I think June weddings are the most common thing, but we're not going to worry about that. Let's not worry about consistencies, right? So let's jump all the way back to year 2017 and look at bridal blessings. That one had Sita, Cordelia, Charlotte, and Lynn. Because Lynn alts were everywhere back then. Everybody was infantry. The skills weren't anything that spectacular, I don't think, at the time anyway. We had some diversity in weapons, at least. As long as you liked blue or colorless things, then that's what you could pull on. So yeah, the first banner honestly had, I think, a lot of fan favorites, and I think they were kind of just pulling from units that, I don't know, they were safe bets. I feel like let's call them safe bets. 2018 rolls around, we get Bridal Bloom. That's the year 2 banner, and that one just has 3 units on this time. We've got Tharja, Ninian, and Saniki of all units that we could possibly get on there. The first 2 made a lot of sense. The third one, not so much. But there was a 3-part banner, which is, you know, it's not a 4-part. And you didn't have 2 of the units sharing colors with the other 2 units, so that's kind of nice. We did also get a free Marth. This was one of the earlier times where we started getting free special units along with events. Speaking of Marth, he was green. He's an Axe Cav, if you didn't know. And this is when flyers kind of started to dominate. The only infantry unit in this banner actually was Tharja. Everybody from the first year was an infantry unit, but Ninian and Saniki were both flyers, and Marth was a cav unit. And that's when we started to see calves and flyers start to become more dominant in the bride banners, which is why I started to like them more, because I like flyers and calves, even though infantry tends to dominate most of the time. So there's that. Jump ahead to last year, which is not a sentence I think makes sense, but we're going to go with it anyway. We're looking at Sigrun, Pent, Tanith, and Fjorm, and we also had a free unit, that being Louise. She was actually the other cav unit to Pent, which made a lot of sense to me. But that's who we had for last year, and everybody was either flyer or cav. There was no mix. It was just that. So with that, I think I would probably expect a lot of calves and flyers this year. I'm leaning towards probably an infantry duo, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. If you're wondering why the screen's blank, I'm giving some context before I throw up the predictions that I think we may be encountering. So there will be something down there for a moment. Just give me a second. So if you look back at the previous years, you'll notice that there's kind of this trend of having Blazing Blade and Tellius to some extent, whether it's, you know, Radiant or Path. I don't think, I think they're going to break trend with that. And there's another one too that we'll talk about in a second, that being Fjorm, or the Fey rep. Year 1 I kind of discount just because I feel like they were going with safe bets. And that's the long and the short of it. I feel like they went with safe bets. And I feel like that's why we had a lot of Fates Awakening stuff in year 1 in general. Is just because, like, it wasn't as popular, Fae. Don't know if you knew about that. It wasn't as popular back then as it is now. It's grown quite a bit. It's gotten quite a bit better. There were some really messed up things that you had to do. For all you new players, you had to spend stamina to do skill inheritance, for example. That was a thing that existed. Lots of crazy stuff. Anyway, So, let's see. We have a new banner coming up on the 20th. It's probably going to drop soon-ish. I would expect probably Sunday. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Now again, I didn't mention that we're probably looking at a lot of flyer cabs, so just keep that in mind. Behold, the banner roster that I'm thinking that we may see. And this is primarily me telling you that it could be anything. Okay, could be anything, but I'm leaning more towards like a genealogy, sacred stones kind of blend, or maybe just juggling in general. But I think we're leaning towards that. I don't think we're gonna have a male rep this year, kind of, and that's predominantly because I think we're gonna be looking at an infantry duo unit of Deirdre and Sigurd. So Sigurd's going to be there. He's going to be in the background, though. Just kind of like hanging out. If that makes sense. He's going to be chilling. He's just back there hanging out. Let's be, I'm something of a husband myself. I've been married for several years now. And I happen to know that no matter what anybody tells you, the wedding is very much just for the bride. It's very much a woman's thing. You, as the man, are there to not mess up the name and not to embarrass the bride. And that is it. Those are your only functions for the most part. I actually tried, fun fact, I tried to get involved in the planning of the wedding, and my opinion was not listened to at all. So there's that. Yeah. So anyway, it's about the ladies. This is about the ladies this time around. We normally would have probably gotten a male unit along with this, like Marth from year 2 or Pent from year 3. But now that we have duos, I think they're kind of going to just like sneak them in for the most part. And I think that's what's going to happen here. So I think Deirdre's probably going to take front and center stage. If it is a Deirdre duo unit, it would probably be Sigurd, I would assume. That makes more sense. Probably. Fun fact, I did a little bit of research for all of this, and I learned the backstory between Julia and Arvis, and I don't... it's messed up. It's really messed up. Super messed up. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So, Deirdre, possibility, could happen. Ethlyn, one of my faves. A healer cav unit that we have in game. She was a free unit, of course. I could see her being a cav again. Maybe a flyer. I don't know. Hopefully another healer. I think Ethlyn for a while was like my healer of choice for the most part. Now I have an insane +10 Mercedes, and that's pretty much all I use. But we could see another healer Ethlyn. I don't know if that would be too predictable or too blech. But for the record, I don't know if this is a spoiler. Potential family relation spoiler for Ethlyn, if you didn't know. Right now, Ethlyn is Sigurd's younger sister, so that's a thing. So I feel like she would kind of pair well here, or they could be really messed up and just go Arvis and give us that whole situation. But I'm hoping they don't do that. Let's keep it wholesome, shall we? Ethlyn. I feel like she'd probably be another healer. Maybe a colorless tome? Like, that could be a thing? Maybe? Again, I'm kind of out of my wheelhouse in terms of who can use what in this particular series. I hope they localize it soon. I'm not a ROM guy. I don't like ROMs. But I hope they do kind of localize the stuff that we haven't seen, or at least put it like on the eShop for the Switch, right? I don't think that could be that bad. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm looking at with that. This is likely, like, speaking of colorless tomes, we could see a colorless tome pop up throughout here, because I don't know that I'm seeing now that I have a lot of tome options for this prediction, wishful thinking type thing that we have going on here. So there's that. I won't get too much into the theory crafting with that. But if we do see Jugdrill, I think these are probably two of the units that we could see more dominantly. There's also the possibility of a Seliph, maybe. I am of the personal opinion that we're probably going to see a Legendary Seliph soon-ish. And Fallen Julia has kind of, I don't know, foretold that, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, moving on. Air. Air is an interesting choice. And I say that because I think there's some kind of weird thing going on with the fourth party member syndrome and special banners. So if you recall, we actually have two Fjorm alts. We have Bride Fjorm and New Year Fjorm. Interesting, right? We have one Air alt, and it's a New Year Air. Curious, right? So if they were going to make a Bride Air, I feel like now is a good time to do it before they start focusing primarily on Book 4 stuff moving forward. And traditionally in the years, this is kind of where it's fallen for the most part, in the spring, summer time area. And that's, probably largely to do with the fact that the current book starts wrapping up in the fall of the year. So, if they're going to do another Air alt, it's probably going to be a Bride. It could be a Summer alt, but we'll talk about those next month, my friend. I don't think they're going to do a Summer Air. So if they're going to do another Air alt, I think Bride Air has the most potential, we'll say. And it's kind of a nice redeeming quality to her backstory, too. She's always sad. And it would be nice if she was happy. Not that marriage equals happiness. Not all the time. Not all the time. Don't read into that. I'm not suggesting anything. But, I feel like it would be... seeing a happy Air would be an interesting step outside of her perceived character. I don't know if they'll do that. I mean, we've already kind of broken the wall with Bride Fjorm being like an alternate Fjorm and stuff. So, there's potential there. I think it would be interesting to see. So I'm kind of hoping that they do it. Flyer Air makes a lot of sense, right? I don't think she'd be a cav unit. I think she'd probably be a flyer. So, Sacred Stones, the last of the split banner. And this is probably what I think they're going to do. I think they're probably going to focus on 2 games and then a 5th kind of split off, as it were. And one of these 2 units I think will likely be the free unit that we get via game mode that accompanies the banner. So first up, there's Loot. Loot was actually super popular back in year 1. In fact, she got a Wayward kind of Redux type unit that happened. I think that was year 1. And we haven't really seen much from Sacred Stones in general. So I feel like if they're going to roll that back out, this is probably the best opportunity for them to do that. Bride banners are usually kind of like pretty and soft, and when I think of Sacred Stones in general, that's kind of how I think about that game. It's not particularly challenging for the most part. The characters are all very kind of soft, generally speaking. I don't know how to describe it other than soft and pretty. That's what I think of when I think of Sacred Stones. But I think Loot kind of fits that motif. If you're not going to do like an Erica Ephraim thing again, which I hope they don't. Like, Sacred Stones has a really good cast of characters for the most part. I hope they diversify and like broaden it out a little bit. But I mean, I could just go, the general Erica-ness of it all. But I hope they don't. I hope they go in with Loot. The other thing that I was kind of thinking was Artur. If he got in here as well, he could be a male unit. But I didn't know if they wanted to like pair stuff up like that. Because to my knowledge, most people tend to ship Artur and Loot together. Don't at me. Don't call me out in the comments. I have no say in this. I'm not putting any stock in it. I don't care what your ship is. I'm just saying that's the general vibe that I get from most people. So there's that. And again, Loot, I feel like would kind of be outside of like the Erica, Tana type groupings, I feel like she would be a nice safe bet that would be popular and people would like. And again, she's placed pretty high in Choose Your Legends votings before, so I feel like it's a pretty safe bet. Could be Cav, could be Flyer, probably a Tome, nevertheless. I feel like she's another good candidate to be a colorless. If they're not leaving, I think for the most part, colorless Tomes are going to be kind of like limited in terms of distribution, and I think a special banner in general is a good time for that. They of course did that with Brambymond, who is mythic and not coming back until like August, I think it is. It's a ways away, so there's that. Last one. If you don't know who she is, she's the only character on this board who doesn't have Fey art, because I think she's likely going to be the new unit that gets introduced from all of this and gets the noir treatment of it all. This is Natasha. If you don't know who Natasha is, she is able to recruit another very popular unit in Sacred Stones. Do you know who it is? Let me know in the comments who you think it is. A little pop quiz for you. So Natasha is here, and I don't know, she's not in the game yet. This may just be wishful thinking on my part, because she was probably one of the, well, she's really the only healer that they used in Sacred Stones. And off the top of my head, I can't really remember if there are any other healers. So there's that. But again, I think Colorless Tome or maybe a staff type unit for her might be a nice option. I could see her being a flyer. The one thing is for sure, nobody's going to be armored on this banner. At least I hope not. And now that I've said that, I've almost assuredly made it so. So there's that. But I think Natasha would be a good fit. There's a handful of characters in Sacred Stones that are popular, are not in the game yet, which I think would probably be more of a first choice than Natasha for most. But this is my video, and I get to decide who the character never making it in the game is going to be. And for the record, I have been on a bit of a hot streak, so I'm probably due for a loss or two moving forward on predictions. So there's that. But these are just some of my thoughts in terms of who we could see on the banner. I am kind of expecting Air, I think, for the most part. If she's not on there, that's cool. I would like another Air alt. Of all of the fourth member type Fae originals, I think Air is probably my favorite. So I'd like to see another alt of her before we go and ignore that Book 3 ever existed. Now that we're just asleep all the time in Book 4. And I think Sacred Stones and Genealogy are probably due for some banner representation, which I'm sure would make a lot of people happy. I'm sure it would make a lot of people happy. And hopefully that's the case. And if not, it's okay, because we have a plethora of banners coming up in June through August, basically, where they are sure to feature very popular units, because summer does that. And then, of course, you know, Choose Your Legends. That's straight up just a popularity contest for the most part. So there you go. Anyway, let me know who you guys think that we will be seeing on this next banner coming up in a couple days. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't subscribed yet, we're trying to hit 5K. There's something back here that I have been waiting to open for a special occasion. And I feel like 5K is a reasonable time to celebrate. So if you'd like to help contribute to that, I think we're pretty close. I can't remember what the latest number is, but I feel like we're getting up close to 5K. So feel free to subscribe if you like. And again, let me know who you think we're going to be seeing on the next Bride banner. And we won't have to wait long until we find out when. We'll be streaming this weekend, so if you're not subscribed, you won't get notified, probably, so you should do that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to take care of yourselves and others during these trying times. Drink lots of water. Remember to wash your hands. And until then, I will catch you next time.